Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our MQ Traders webinar. Before we start, can I just check if everyone can hear me clearly? If you can, please type 1. Now, thank you so much for your response. I see many of you have typed 1. It certainly is great that you guys can hear me clearly. Once again, a very warm welcome to our MQ Traders webinar on discovering the 5 best Singapore stocks. Today, it's our pleasure to have Mr. Choy to be sharing with us, and I'm Robin, your host for today's event. I'm one of the Mqtrader team who is the organizer for today's event. Mqtrader's full name is Malaysia's Quantitative Trader Group. We are an independent trader group that uses quantitative methods to perform analysis and decisions in stock trading. In our effort to bring the quantitative trading strategies to our traders, we have developed the Mqtrader stock analysis system and made it available to all our MQ members. For those who aren't familiar with us, this is how our Mqtrader stock analysis system looks like. We've included wonderful trading strategies in it, and the system can auto-compute buy and sell signals based on the strategies that were included. You can refer to these strategies to conveniently identify any possible trends in just a few clicks. In short, this is a tool that brings what the institutional investors have to the retailers' hands. And with this system, our traders are able to make quicker decisions and with greater confidence because they have access to a steady stream of both information and also trading strategies. As the quote says, plan your trade and then trade your plan. It will make your life easier when you plan your trades ahead by referring to a reliable tool, just like the Mqtrader stock analysis system that combines various wonderful trading strategies for you. And to use this tool, all you have to do is become an Mqtrader member. You can sign up to be our member via the links in the comment section, and do sign up now so that you won't miss out on our MQ members' exclusive rewards. For those who have already signed up for Mqtrader member, who have a trading account with us, and who have registered for the event, you can claim 300 MQ points by the end of this webinar. All you have to do is complete a short quiz that will be sent right to your email after this, and submit a screenshot of any part of this webinar in the quiz link. I just want to highlight that the screenshot is a must, and you may screenshot any part of this webinar to submit. And for those of you that met the above criteria, but yet to have an Mqtrader account, you can also claim these 300 MQ points by signing up for an Mqtrader account through the links in the comment section or by scanning the QR code right here on the screen now. You just need to fill in a username, email, and password to sign up for an Mqtrader account. Do sign up now if you don't want to miss out on the rewards, and I'll give you a few seconds to do so. Before I go any further, here are the benefits for those who open a trading account with Mqtrader. Can I just check if any one of you are interested in getting these benefits? If yes, you can type 3 in the chat box. Now, thank you so much for your response. These benefits are provided by Mqtrader exclusively to those who open a trading account with us. And so, how to open a trading account with Mqtrader? You can open a trading account by providing your contact details to us by clicking on the Open Account link, or private chat with us, or by scanning the QR code right here on the screen. And our support team will contact you shortly to guide you on your account opening process. This trading account will allow you to trade in Singapore and some other countries as well. And what's more, you will also get an extra 500 MQ points if you sign up for a trading account with us today. I would like to emphasize that it's free to open a trading account with Mqtrader because we will cover the account opening fees for you. The 500 MQ points are only limited to people who sign up today. Points will be credited to you once your account is successfully opened. This live webinar is available on Zoom and our Facebook page. Do share our Zoom or Facebook links with your friends so they'll be able to learn more about Singapore market as well. There will be a Q&A session towards the end, and if you want to interact with our speaker, remember to stay to the end. You can type out your questions to our speaker at any point in both Zoom and Facebook Live. Our Mqtrader team will compile and send them to our speaker. We'll be sending out today's webinar recordings to all who register for the event. For those who have not registered for the event, you can register now by providing us your email address via the link in the comment section, or send your request to Mqtrader's email or to our WhatsApp number as shown on the screen. You can also view our previous webinar recordings if you want to learn more about Singapore markets. The videos are up on our MQdemy and Facebook page. You may visit the link afterwards or scan the QR code right here on the screen if you want to rewatch them. On our topic today, the Singapore stock market has surged more than 30% as vaccines gave hope to the economic recovery early this year. But in recent months, the Singapore stock market has tanked down when the Delta variant was discovered in the country. So, is the recovery team still on track? How can we position ourselves during these uncertain periods? And how can we utilize the technical screeners to search for opportunities? I believe our speaker today, Mr. Choy, will be able to answer all these questions as he shares his views on the Singapore stock market and on how he attunes his watch list to maximize profits in the current situation. Mr. Choy is Singapore's famous mentor and author on teaching people how to make a profit by trading the stock market. He is also one of the most watched, quoted, and followed stock trading trainers in Singapore. So without further ado, let us welcome Mr. Choy to share with us.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Robin. Okay, let me just share my screen, guys. Okay, good. Thanks, Robin, for the introduction. And I think you guys can, I think pretty much can see my screen. So we have more than 50 of you on board already. Let me just go to check. Okay, so it seems like everything is working. And guys, okay, if you can see and you can hear me loud and clear, guys, type a 1 in the comment below, or maybe on the right side of Zoom, there should be a comment. Type a 1 in the chat so that I know that you guys can see and hear me, because sometimes you really don't know if these things are working. Awesome, I can see you guys. Jay, Celine, Sam, Gary, hi. BC, we have more than 60 of you coming on board. Kelly, hi, welcome. Good to see you guys here. Michelle, hi, awesome. Okay, so it seems like you guys can see me, and in this very webinar, all right, we'll be talking about pretty much the 5 best Singapore stocks to position yourself in, all right, right now, right, to potentially 2x your portfolio, and why, right? So how many of you want to know the 5 best Singapore stocks? Type me in the chat below, right? Type me so that I know that you guys want. Let me know. Type me, Chase, hi, me, yes. So there should be a chat box on your right, all right, whereby you can type to everyone. Hi, Gary, Michelle, me, Gary, Sam, Celine. So you have more than 60 of you on board. So welcome to this very webinar, guys. And I'm very glad to have Mqtrader invited me over here. All right, and there'll be a couple of things we will cover by the end of this session, right? But guys, before I even talk about this, firstly, I would like to acknowledge all of you for being here. I mean, the fact that you could be doing so many things on a Saturday morning, but the fact you're here means you'll learn something. So I'll do everything in my power to make sure it's well worth your time. Sounds good, guys? Type yes below. Let me know. Awesome. Yes. Okay, good. So let's go ahead, right? So this is a quick disclaimer, right? Basically, whatever they share today is just for educational purpose only, right? So please do your own due diligence, right? The standard disclaimer which I put. And these are pretty much the 3 secrets that will be reviewed today, right? Secret number 1, the simple yet powerful 1 good trend strategy of why this best Singapore stocks I'm going to share with you are even in my watch list. Why even my watch list, right? What's the strategy behind? I call this 1 good trend, right? Secret number 2 is how to write these massive potential stocks by positioning yourselves at high probability hot zones, right? To get in and out like a pro. That's secret number 2. And we have secret number 3, which is my best stocks review, right? So you definitely want to watch this, and stay all the way to the end, because I think that's the reason why some of you are here. Right? Pretty much the best stocks, plus, that you want to put in your watch list right now in the Singapore market to kind of like potentially generate double-digit ROI, in the next few months or maybe even next year, right? So these are the 3 secrets, okay? So type 3, guys, type 3 if you want to know what are these 3 secrets. Let me know. Okay, good. 3, awesome. Chase, hi. Kelly, 3, not good. Okay, so just a quick understanding. How many of you is like pretty much this is like your your first time seeing me, whether it's like face-to-face or like a webinar, is pretty much your first time. Let me know in the chat, right? Is it like first time, second time, or many times? I don't know. Let me know, like how many of you is like first time? First time, Gary. Okay, good. Celine, your first time as well. Edgar, first time. 3 times, second time. Jialin, first time. Sam, first time. Okay, seems like quite a lot of you are pretty much first time that you're seeing me. And would it be okay with you guys if I share a little bit of my backstory so that you know what I'm doing and where I am, what I am today? Would that be okay, guys? Let me know in the chat if that's okay. Just a quick one. Yes, type a yes if that is okay. Awesome, Celine, let's go. So guys, my name is Joey Choy, and I'm very glad to be here. Thanks Mqtrader for having me in this very webinar. And in fact, I really do webinars like this. I normally teach people in real life events and seminars how to trade the stock market profitably, right? But of course, we can't really do that now, right? So over the last couple of years, I had the privilege to be able to impart my skills and knowledge to thousands of people in Singapore, teaching them how to kind of like generate an income in the stock market. I'm also really honored to be able to share the stage with some of the top trading experts speaking on platforms like 938, InvestFair, Invest Carnival, and some of the top trading summits in Singapore. And I'm also really humbled to be one of the award-winning top-tier Remisio stockbroker in Philips Securities in Singapore, winning multiple yearly awards like top trading representative, top account growth achiever, and all that. And all this while, pretty much teaching people not just to make like some side income or some small gains here and there, but essentially to change lives, right? And that's what I've been doing. But here's the thing, right? Many times when people look at what I do today, what they see is all the fancy stuff like the speaking gigs, the awards, the night trade, the events. That's what people today see on the surface level, right? But what people don't see is that things were not always like that for me. In fact, just a couple of years back, I was like completely crushed. I was pretty much like crushed all the way down. And just allow me to share a little bit, or I'll not go too much into it, but this came out on the Business Times as well in Singapore, and you look at this right here, down 740K. After penny stock crash, he clawed his way back up. So very, very fortunate to be featured in this. But basically, what happens was a client of mine had kind of like incurred losses or debts about 740K, and this debt kind of like fell to me, right? So I had to like pick up the debt of somebody else, of my client, all right, and I managed to do it in about 2.5 years, all through the stock market, through my broking income and my trading income as well, all right. So yes, I probably would not want to dive into it, all right, but basically I'll just give you a snapshot of how I do it in terms of the strategy, the one good trend strategy, which I'll share with you guys today. But if you want to find out a little bit more on like the whole entire strategy, how do you actually get in and out, how do you do that, and then I think you can probably check out one of those free web class that I'm running. I'll probably this is the code. You can kind of just probably give you guys a few seconds. You can scan this code, and pretty much that's where you will be able to learn a little bit more if you're keen and serious. I'll probably put the link as well, just on the chat as well. You can take a look at the link, and that's pretty much where you want to register for this web class to learn a little bit more, right? So that's the link, all right, and I guess you guys now know a little bit of me, right? So yes, are you guys ready to learn these secrets and take massive action? Secret number 1, secret number 2, and secret number 3. Let me know. Type yes in the chat if you're ready, all right, to learn the 3 secrets that I'm about to share with you today. Okay, good. Chin Chin, Jia Jin, okay, BC, Robert, hi, good to see you here. So we have a few of you coming aboard. We have like more than 70 of you already. Okay, let's go ahead, right? So that's secret number 1, right? The simple yet powerful one good trend strategy of why this best Singapore stocks, that I'm about sharing with you in secret number 3 are even in my watch list right now. What is the strategy behind? So let me share with you. So basically, how do we determine the trend of any counter in 5 seconds, right? Before even writing it, right? So what we can do is, we want to write stocks that are in and out trend. You want to go along with the trend and not like against the trend, because if you're against, then it's like, harder to make money. You want to go along with it, so it's harder to lose money, right? So next one would be, we want to use like channel resistance lines and moving averages to affirm the trend. I'll show you guys how to do it, not to worry, but want to take trades with the trend while protecting our profits and making sure to get out if the trend has reversed. So pretty much this is the whole strategy about. We want to take trades along with the trend, or of course we want to make sure we know what is the trend first, right? The worst thing to do is you think that the trend is like it's like up, but actually it's down, and then you're just buying into it and it goes down and down, right? So that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that the trend is correct first, and then we move on to the second step, which will be secret number 2, right? So let me share with you how do we actually gauge the trend of any counter. So most of the time, the market will be like this, any single stock like this. You will not like go up every day, you will not go down every day. You go like from up, down, and this is what we call a trend. So we can actually draw what we call a downward sloping channel resistance line right here. For example, R1, R2, R3. So each time prices touches this line, comes back down, touches, comes back down. So pretty much in a downtrend over here, right? So just by drawing one line right over here. So later we look at some live case studies, as I say, so not to worry, but just a very quick run through. So as it breaks right here, all right, this channel resistance line, it can kind of like signal a reversal, all right, pretty much from a downtrend to maybe a bit of sideways and potentially going to an uptrend. And that's what happens, right? So you just break up and it might consolidate a little bit, up, down, and that's where we can see that prices starts to push up slowly, and it's pretty much from a downtrend to an uptrend, right? So we're not like just break and then like just move up all the way and then from suddenly down and up in like a few days. No, all right. It might break up a bit, consolidate a while right here, and that's where we can see the uptrend gradually continue. All right, of course, that's where we see some signs of this good support forming as well. All right. So next one would be we can also use what we call the 200 days moving average. So 200 days moving average, basically you can pull out a moving average on your chart. All right, it's just an indicator which kind of like shows the average of prices over a period of time. So it could be like 50, 100, 200. But in this case, we use the 200 days moving average, more of like a longer term moving average. And if prices are kind of like above this moving average. So you can see right here, we're pretty much in downtrend with prices kind of like below the 200 days moving average and the 200 days moving average going down, down, down. But somewhere around here, you can see this blue line start to reverse back up. So when the blue line start to reverse back up with prices above the 200 days moving average, then it can show that, yeah, I mean, the trend has kind of like turned as well from a bit of a downtrend to an uptrend. So that's like just one line, 200 days moving average. You can like just pull out on your chart in like 5 seconds, right? Next one would be the 100 days moving average, right? So yeah, you can pull out another line, which is what I do with this red line called the 100 days moving average. So you can see that it kind of like reacts a little bit more sensitively to prices. You can see it kind of like kind of like moves down and it moves up quite fast. I mean, compared to like the blue line, which is like more gentler. All right, and this is the red line. So you can see that another way to tell if the trend has turned from like a down or maybe like to an upward trend would be looking at this like 100 days moving average. So you can see right here when this 100 days moving average, kind of like cross back above the blue line. So right above the blue, all right, 100 days above the 200 days moving average, it can point to what we call a good mid to long-term uptrend. All right, that is what can happen, of course, with prices holding above both the red and blue line and both of them pointing up. That could be a sign of an uptrend. That's where we can think about getting in on these stocks like that, right, to ride the uptrend, of course, but not just buy anywhere, but at least these are stocks that we want to focus on, right? So this is pretty much how we do it. All right, so there's a huge myth, right? As long as you trade in the same direction as the trend, you will profit. How many of you think this is true? Let me know, true or not true. Let me know. What do you guys think? As long as you trade in the same direction as the trend, you will profit. Is it true? True, true. Yeah, I think Jay, you're saying it's true as well. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So let me explain to you, right? Most of the time people think that it's true, but let's move on to secret number 2, right? Which I'll explain to you, right? So, I mean, it's good that you're in the same direction as the trend, and that's what I've covered just now. So it's better than going like, opposite the trend, right? I mean, it's like down and then you just keep on buying and buying. That's like a sure Q way, all right? So that's not what you want to do. So being in the same direction as the trend is good, all right? That's a good thing. At least you're not against, right? But if you really want to see like, pick winners and ride, the uptrend properly and get to write like, potential double-digit ROI gains in the stock market, then it's not just being in the right direction, but also taking trades in certain areas. I call it like certain hot zones when you're in the right direction as a trend. Does it make sense? Right. So then that's what brings us to secret number 2, right? How to write these potential stocks by positioning yourself at high probability hot zones, right, to get in and out like a pro. As I say, right, it's good that you're in the right direction of the trend, right? At least you get it right. But if you really want to, make, like some good gains and a higher reward to risk ratio kind of trades, then you want to position yourself at certain levels. So let me show you what I mean by that. So after the trend has been affirmed just by looking at what I did just now, right, the moving averages and all that, you want to trade the trend, all right, not against it, right? You want to look to take positions with the highest reward to risk ratio, right? Highest reward to risk ratio. I'll share with you where these positions or these areas of values are, all right? And you want to take position at pretty much these two critical zones, right? So these are the two critical zones which I pretty much position myself to take the trades, right? Not 3, not 4, just these two zones. Later I'll show you. I'll show you where are these areas, right? So zones which are pretty much near support and resistance level, right? So what are support and resistance level? People have been asking me. So basically a support level is whereby, there's a price level whereby, every time the price kind of like touches it, it rebounds, it touches, it rebounds like 3-4 times. So that's what we call like a support level, right, from the chart. So, that's where, buyers are kind of like prepared to buy again for a rebound back up. And you can see a lot of buyers right there. Right. So what about a resistance level? A resistance level is something like the ceiling, right? A ceiling right here, you can see if you throw a ball up, the ball will come back down, all right? So it's like the floor and the ceiling. So when a resistance level is where, each time it rebounds, it touches, it comes back down, it touches, it comes back down. So a lot of sellers are there. Each time we near the level, sellers come back and push prices back down, right? So that is like a resistance level. So most of the time, the market will be what we call consolidation phases, right? Between this like support and resistance level, up, down, up, down. You like go up every day or go down every day. This is not how it works. Like 70 to 80% of the time, the market will be in what we call consolidation phases. Are you guys following so far? If you guys are following, guys, type a 2 in the chat so that I know that you guys are still here, right? Okay. So are you guys following? Okay, we have more than 70 on your board. Helmi, hi, good to see you guys. 222, hi Joel, Kelly, awesome. So good that you guys are flowing. So let's move on, right? Basically, this is what I call an uptrend zones, right? So as I mentioned, it's good that you are in the right direction as a trend. So let's just talk about the uptrend for now, all right? And pretty much the two zones where I would like to take my trades, right? And I say, right, most of the time, the stock market or any stock or, the market will be what we call consolidation phases, right? Resistance and support. Like what you see here, these are, red line is like a resistance. The green line is whereby we are seeing some support. So each time we rebounds, up, down, and that is pretty much like what we call the consolidation phase, right? And the two zones which I want to time my entry in the uptrend would be this right here, right? So we're thinking about buying, all right, whenever we hit to some of those really good support zones, right? Support level whereby many times it rebounds, right? That's where we can think about timing our entry because it's an uptrend. There's a higher probability of this stock pushing higher, and especially if it's rebounded many times from this support level. So that is pretty much the first zone I would definitely want to position myself, all right, in trades, right? That's the first zone. Second zone will be right here, right? So when we see a break, right, a break of this resistance level, as I say, all right, a resistance level is whereby there are a lot of sellers. Each time it goes up, it comes back down, sellers push it back down. But when it were to break that level, right, the level whereby there's a lot of sellers and buyers just come back in and boom, right, just buy up the entire seller, just clear it up. And that's where we can potentially see the next upside phase happening. For example, let's say we're on like a second floor right now, there's a ceiling, we break the ceiling, we go into a third floor, and then we go into fourth floor. That's how it works, right? It will not like just go up every single day. Each time you consolidate, and then that's why, when it breaks a certain resistance level, which is pretty much the second zone I like to share with you, that is where the uptrend can continue to the next phase. So pretty much these are the two zones that, you want to think about buying, all right? Even when you are in the same direction as the trend. So myth busted, right? As long as you trade in the same direction as the trend, at the two critical zones, right? You need to add this sentence, at the two critical zones, you will profit, right? It's not just anywhere in the uptrend. I mean, okay, this is better than the opposite direction, but if you really want to see some good, high probability trades, then, in an uptrend, you want to focus on these two critical zones. So later I'll show you guys what are some of my best stocks, all right? And, we look at this strategy and how do we actually apply whatever we have just learned. All right, and that brings us to secret number 3. Right, so pretty much, guys, secret number 1 and 2, I just give you guys a glimpse of my whole entire one good trend strategy, pretty much in a nutshell how we do it. But as I say, if you want to find a bit more, you can attend one of those free web class. All right, and yeah, this is secret number 3, right, which is pretty much why these stocks which I'm about to review are even in my watch list. How do we actually apply whatever we have learned just now? Right? So how many of you want to know, right, the best Singapore stocks that are in my watch list? Type 10, right? Type 10, guys. Type 10 in the chat if you want to know what are these stocks before we move into secret number 3, right? Okay, good. We have 10. Hi, Key. Hi, Helmi. Yoksiu. Hi, good to see you here. We have a few of you new coming on board. Hi, Woods. Hi, Joey. Okay, Jocelyn, June. Hi, Kelly. So I see of you, Lawrence, Natasha. Okay, good. So I think that's the reason why you are here, right? So I believe now you kind of like have a good understanding of what this whole strategy is about. And when I talk about these stocks in a bit, at least you have a better idea, right? So this is pretty much what secret number 3 is. My best stocks in the Singapore market that you can kind of like position yourself in to generate like double-digit percentage ROI, right? Return on investment, for yourself, and it's done for us over the past few weeks and few months as well, right? So this is what we covered, right? So this is pretty much the stocks I'd like to share with you. Maybe you can just write it down first. Not to worry, guys. We will dive into like the charts live as I talk about it, all right? And that's where we will have a Q&A session as well, right? So not to worry, do stick around all the way to the end because if you have any questions, that's where you can ask me, all right? So first one will be Franken, all right? Singapore stocks, right? Singapore stocks, Franken, number 2, Apec Realty, number 3, DBS, number 4, UOB, number 5, SIA. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So write it down. Once it's done, guys, just write it down. Once that is done, let me know, type done in the chat so that I know that you guys are done before we actually dive into these 5 stocks. Let me know, guys. Okay, done. So of you done already? Okay, so these are pretty much the 5 stocks that have been in my watch list, I would say, over the past, few months, maybe up to last year as well. We have seen quite a good uptrend, and the uptrend still looks quite intact. Right, so this is the reason why I want to share with you guys, and you can also think about putting them in your watch list. So let me just go ahead to pull out these stocks right here. So the first one I say would be Franken, right? FRENCKEN, right here, right? So what is Franken? Franken is kind of like a stock in the technology sector in Singapore, one of those really good, strong, uptrending stock right here. And this is the chart you can see. And you can see that, based on what I taught you guys, you can see that this stock has been in quite a good long-term uptrend, I would say, since like last year, right? Since last year, of course, due to the current situation where that hit us, you can see we kind of like went down to a low in 2020 to about like 70-80 cents. And then when we broke that $1, all right, that's where we start to see this uptrend starting to form. Look at this, right? The red line, as mentioned, right? The red line is the 100 days moving average. All right, so the red above the blue, which is pretty much in a good uptrend, right? Pretty much a very, very good uptrend. Red above the blue, each time it retraces back down to the red line, it rebounds. And yeah, just about last week, same thing, we went down to near where the red line is, the 100 days moving average, and we kind of like rebounded off it as well. So very, very good uptrend, right? So that is in terms of the trend. So what about the levels, the potential levels whereby you can think about getting in? Remember I talked to you that there are two zones, right? 2 zones whereby you can time your entry. All right, and where are the 2 zones? So let me just go through this stock. I'm not go too far back right over here, but maybe just somewhere around here, we can just go to draw some horizontal support and resistance line. Let me just draw it for you right here. One more right here as well, you can see. Okay, so let me just go like somewhere maybe in like March or April. You can see that each time a stock pushes up, you can see right here, somewhere in like May, right? As I say, it's an uptrend. Right, but it doesn't just go up every single day. Most of the time, the stock will be in what we call consolidation. So somewhere in May, you can see we were like consolidating, right? This was like a bit of a resistance at about the 165 level. And when we break this 165, you can see 165 kind of like became the support. So it started to break up, consolidated from like 165 to about 180. Look at this, up, down. Eventually, all right, so it was consolidating. Eventually, we broke, all right, the 180, and we move on, all right, to the higher consolidation phase, right? So for example, like on the second floor, we break, we go to the third floor, consolidate. From third floor, we go to fourth floor, right? So that's pretty much how it works. So you kind of like went above, all right, consolidate. Can you see when we broke this like 180 right here, we actually came down a little bit back to the support level, and we push off as well, right? So push off, and from like 180 went all the way $2, went up, all right? So to consolidate here, you can see it's consolidated here, a bit of support about 210, from 210 to about 230, up, down. Eventually we broke this 230 and went all the way to 250, right? So 250 was kind of like the previous high that you've seen just about 1.5 months back, right here, about 250. Right, but yeah, I mean, we saw a bit of weakness in the technology sector in the US, in Singapore market, we got affected as well. So kind of like sold off. You can see when we broke this like 230, you can see this 230 was a little bit of a support level. You can see rebounded, and look at this right here. When we broke this 230, then that's where some selling can actually happen, right? But selling doesn't mean it goes all the way down. We actually headed back to the previous support level right here. We're somewhere around the $2.10. Look at this, right? The $2.10 right here. All right, went down to this level. Same thing like where we were just in August. I mean, why did you go here? Why not like here and here, right? You went to like somewhere here, all right? So that is a good sign whereby this support that has held in August is pretty much holding, all right? And it's also where the red line is. Look at this, right? The red line is the 100 days moving average. So that's a good sign. Of course, guys, we saw some really good bullish reversal candle here. This is what we call something like a doji, all right, at these areas of value. So when we saw this little doji right here, you can kind of like signal a good rebound, starting to happen back to that 230. So that was like kind of like targets we drawn about 2 or 3 weeks back, when we headed to this level, all right, for a good rebound. And yes, it did kind of like rebound over the past 2 weeks. And this is pretty much where we are right now at about $2.30. So you can see we have kind of like hit our targets, all right. And people have been, some of my clients have been asking me, is it time to like get in again? I mean, like, I kind of like missed it. I did not buy right here at 210 or 212, So right now, could I actually be a bit more upside? What do you guys think? I mean, should we think about buying this stock, or what should we do, guys? What about Franken? Should we think about buying this stock, or maybe just like not do anything and just get out and just let it go up further? Let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think we should do? Should we think about buying this stock? Buy. So since you're saying should buy, okay. Yeah, so I think basically, right, in this stock, what happens is, as I say, it's pretty much in an uptrend, right? So we want to think about buying, all right? So what is the level that you can think about buying right now? So very simple. I would say that right now we can see some good support coming in around that $2.20 level. You can see this is the green line. The green line, right, is pretty much what we call the short-term 20 days moving average, right? 20 days moving average. You can see the prices kind of like break above this green line, and this green line, the 20 days moving average, is starting to turn up, right? So that's a good sign of the shorter term trend turning up as well, right? So right, you can see, right, because as I say, right, we were pretty much from like 230 to 250, and when we broke this green line coming down, you can see the green line went down, we kind of broke this 20 days moving average. That's where we saw some short-term weakness, but longer term, right, the red and the blue line, it looks good, right? It looks good. Longer term, it looks good, but short term, we did see some weakness, all right? But we kind of like rebounded from this support level. And now, right now, you can see there are some signs of the short-term trend turning up as well. You can see right now, the green is pointing up, red up, blue up, and I would say we are still looking quite short. So let me go ahead to draw up what we call another support line. I think over the past, I would say like 1 week plus, we have seen a little bit of support coming in just around the $2.20 level right here, right? So that is pretty much like the 220 level. You can see right here about 220, a little bit of bias coming up, and that would be pretty much the range right now, which is also where the green line is. You can see kind of like very, very near to the 220, maybe 225 if you want to give it a bit of leeway, but that is pretty much the range from 220 all the way to about $2.40. So a bit of selling coming in around the $2 right? 240, you can see this is where we were as well, right? It was pretty much the support level right here, right? Just in September when we broke down. So 240 is a little bit of a resistance, but right now I think that it still looks okay, right? The fact that we have rebounded a bit, and of course, if we break that 240 as well, pretty much back to where we were, back to 250, right? So this is Franken right here, one of those good stocks, Singapore technology counter, which is pretty much doing my watch list, and every time it kind of like dips to certain support levels, you can think about getting in as well, right? So this is Franken here. Okay, so how many of you want to move on to stock number 2, right? Type of 2, guys, type of 2 in the chat if you want to move on to stock number 2, which would be Apec Realty. Okay, good. Two. So guys, does this make sense, right? Does this make sense? Does it, I mean, what I've covered just now, does it make sense? Does it seem like, is you're applying what we have learned just now? All right. So I think you guys can see yourself doing this, right? It's not that difficult, right? Basically, we want to look at the zones whereby we can think about getting in. All right. So let's take a look at the next one, which would be Apec Realty. All right. Apec Realty, let me just share with you. And this would be Apec Realty, one of those good, I would say, uptrending stock as well. All right, we kind of hit the high of around the 90 cents. You can see right here, and saw a bit of selling back. You can see we broke the 80 cents, went down a little bit, and found some good support. So we can also draw what we call an upward sloping channel support line right here. You can see as it forms like higher lows. And of course, let me just remove this for now. You can see that the red and blue line, they are pointing up. So longer term trend, as I say, it looks quite okay. Of course, short term, when we kind of like went down below this green line somewhere in September, there were some signs of weakness, right? And it went down, we broke the 80 cents, went down to this support. You can see this was pretty much the support level right here, around 70, 73, okay? And we started to see a little bit of a rebound back up. All right. And over the past 1 week plus, right? That's a good thing, right? So over the past 1 week plus, we have managed to break this 80 cents. Right? So write it down, right? Apec Realty, this 80 cents is quite important. In fact, that is also where the 20 days, look at this green line, which is the 20 days moving average line as well, right? 20 days moving average right here. And this 80 cents has now turned from a bit of a resistance to a bit of a support level. And past 1 week plus, we have been holding above these 80 cents. We're like 0.81 now. So I think it looks quite okay. I think it looks quite okay. One of those good uptrending counters as well. Of course, we saw some weakness, but then, it seems like buyers are kind of like prepared to take it higher back to around the 85. All right, a bit of resistance around the 85 cents level, but I think if that gives way as well, it is pretty much back to that 90 cents level, right? That is pretty much where we were in August, September, and that's where some profit taking can actually come back again, right? So this Apec Realty, one of those real estate agency stock in Singapore that I like as well, has been my watch list since like May, June, whereby the uptrend really started to form up and as it pushed higher, right? So this Apec Realty, right, which is stock number 2, all right? Let me know, guys, if you want to move on to stock number 3, type 3 in the chat. Let me know. So yes, guys, I see a few of you having questions for me. Thank you so much for your question, guys. But not to worry, guys, we will have a Q&A session right at the end, and that's where you will be able to answer your questions as well in another tab, all right? And I think try not to ask your questions in the chat because you can see it will be lost, right? Okay, so ask your questions in another tab. I think there's in Zoom, there's a Q&A tab whereby you can ask your questions, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end, all right? So let's move on to stock number 3. Okay, good. So yes, guys, when you type your comments, right, in the chat, right, you can type it to like everyone. So everyone would be able to see your comments, including myself as well, right? So that's how it works, okay? Okay, so let's move on to stock number 3, which would be like DBS, right? DBS Bank, one of the the banks in Singapore, all right? We have like DBS and UOB Banks. So one of those, I would say, really good recovery plays. Somewhere like last year, you can see, when the current situation hit us just last year, we kind of like sold all, we broke like 24, 25, went all the way down to somewhere around March. All right, and that's where I started to see a bit of stability, went up and started to consolidate. And the uptrend really started somewhere around here, all right, in like November, when there were talks about rolling out vaccines and all that. And that's where, started to see the uptrend forming. Look at this, right? Look at this. The red lines, I say, guys, this is pretty much a clear case of the trend turning from like a down to an up trend. As I mentioned, right, just now we had like the red and blue line. So this red line was pretty much down, 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 and eventually somewhere around here in November, you can see this red line kind of like cross back. Let me just zoom it in for you. I mean, right here, right here, you can see this red line kind of cross back in November, about a year back, all right, about a year back, kind of cross back up above this blue line, all right, so right above the blue, and these two lines both started to point out. So that's a sign of the trend kind of like turning from like a down, all right, and to a bit of an uptrend. That's where you can potentially think about, getting into the recovery phase. So the recovery has kind of like happened over the past 1 year. I mean, since like 2021 beginning, we started to consolidate, push up, all right, and this is where we were over the past, I would say, 5 to 6 months, right? So as I say, right, most of the time the market or the stock would not like go up every single day. If it does, then you want to be careful, right? We want to see some kind of like consolidation as it moves higher, because each time it pushes up, sellers might want to take some profit as well, which is healthy, which is good, right? Rather than just going up every single day, then you want to be careful, because if it comes back down, right, it can be quite fast because there's like no support along the way, right? But as it consolidates, new supports are formed as it moves higher, and that's a good sign of a very, very healthy uptrend. And that's what we're seeing for like DBS, right? Kind of like push up, and you can see since like April, we have been like consolidating from about that $29. Look at this, right? Quite a good support level. You can see right here, went down, up, went up a bit, came back down to 29 just in like September last month. We kind of covered it as well, and we have kind of rebounded from that 29 back up to that 31, and even that $32 gave way as well. All right, so that is pretty much the first zone. So remember, I talked about the two zones. Remember, the first zone would be where we are seeing good support in an uptrend, and this would be this zone right here. Right? Remember the first zone right here, somewhere where we kind of like hit to like a good support level, or in an uptrend. That's where there's very high probability of it rebounding back up in an uptrend. That's the first zone. All right, if you've gone in there, great. That's where you can think about potentially getting out. All right, maybe near the resistance 31, 32. Right, so that's the first zone. And the next zone would be the second zone, which will pretty much, if we were to break above, right? So if you have kind of like big, some profit, get out, that's good, right? But the second zone would be if we were to break above, all right, the resistance level. For example, right now for DBS, we are pretty much at an all-time high. We kind of broke that 32 level, and over the past like 2-3 days, we have seen some good support forming right at this 32, right? So this 32 has now kind of like turned from a little bit of a resistance to a support level, and that's where I would say that the uptrend can potentially continue further, right? Maybe to 33 to 34 in the short to mid term, right? As long as we were to stay above this $32 level, right? Like you can see over the past 3 days, we have kind of like still hold above the 32, and that's a good sign whereby the uptrend can potentially still continue, right? So if you're still holding on to it, like you've got in like right here, when you got in at the support level and you're holding on to it, that's a good thing. So you want to take steps to protect your profits as it pushes higher, or maybe think about adding more positions to ride the uptrend even further, right? So this DBS, one of those banks, I mean, in Singapore that I like as well, very, very strong uptrend. It was like consolidating, and over the past like 1-2 weeks, that's where we started to see a bit of a good move of some good bullish actions actually coming back. All right, DBS. All right, so let's move on to the other bank, right, which is UOB. I want to share you UOB as well. Really good, all right. And over the past like 1 week plus, we started to see a little bit of actions coming back, right? So I talk about it in my videos as well on YouTube and Facebook, and that's where we were actually consolidating. As I say, most of the time we were consolidating, all right. And this was like in 2019, all right, even before the current pandemic, all right. And that's where we kind of broke this $25. It was like from 25 to 27. You can see it's like up, down. And when we broke this 25, we started to trade all the way down to like 17, 18, rebounded a bit, consolidated. And that's where you can see right here, the moving averages started to turn up. All right. The red above the blue, and the longer term trend actually started to form up, something like DBS, right? And yes, over the past like, 8 months to 10 months, we started to rebound slowly, gradually. All right. And, back up to this same consolidation. Let me just go ahead. You can see right here, we can change this level, 25 to 27 to this level. Look at this, right? It fits really nicely. Sometimes it just, it's amazing how, it just kind of like fits really nicely, right? From 25 to 27. So yes, we were pretty much consolidating for about like 5 5 months, right? 5 to 6 months here as well. Same like where we were even before the pandemic, all right? And up, down from 25 to 27. You can see went up, down. So that is pretty much the range, right? So I talk about the first zone whereby you can think about timing your entry, and that would be right over here, right? Pretty much the support level in an uptrend, and that's where there's a higher probability of it kind of like rebounding up, all right, in an uptrend, all right, for the uptrend to continue. So you've got in there, great, all right, but we started to see a little bit more actions coming back, and we broke this resistance level at that 27, right? So this 27 level is key, right? We have been like trading below, since like 2019, about 1-2 years, all right, and then we broke that 27. So right now, I would say that the uptrend can potentially start to see a little bit more momentum coming back, all right here, all the way to maybe about that 28. And of course, the 28 with the giveaway as well, potentially back up to that $30. That could potentially be the upside. So right now, I would say that support-wise, this 27, all right, as I mentioned, this 27 was a resistance level right here. Resistance will now turn support level. So this 27, all right, as long as it holds above the new 27 level right here, I think that is where we can potentially see a little bit more upside. You can see over the past 2 days, buyers are starting to come back, all right? You can see the green line is pointing up. There's a short-term 20 days moving average, and that's a good sign of a little bit more upside all the way to 28. And just take note, if 28 with the giveaway, I think we can actually see a little bit more strength, all right, all the way to like 29 to 30. Right, so this is UOB, also one of those stocks that have came into my watch list, over the past 1 to 2 weeks, because we eventually broke, all right, this $27 level. All right, okay, good. So let's move on to next one, SIA. All right, so yeah, just hang on with me, right? About 5 more minutes before we go to Q&A. All right, so this is SIA right here. All right, and SIA would be Singapore Airlines, right? Singapore Airlines. So yes, pretty much you can see we were in a downtrend, all right, since like 2019. Of course, when the pandemic kind of hit us, you can see we went down from like $7, $6, and SIA has done like a rights issue. So price has adjusted downwards as well. So when they did rights issue like last year to raise funds, billions of dollars in funds, I mean, the whole entire airline sector was like decimated, right? So they kind of like raised funds, and we kind of like, went down a little bit all the way to like $3.50, $4, found a little bit of a support. And same thing when there were talks about investing like the banks, we started to see like the recovery just beginning to happen. Look at this, right? The red line, all right, in January, kind of like crossed back above the blue line. So definitely some signs of the trend starting to turn up as well. All right, so that's a good sign. But same thing, we went all the way up from like to about 580. And of course, we had like the Delta variant that kind of like hit the whole entire world. And that's where the airlines got hit as well. Went down, all right, to about 450. Let me just zoom in for you guys. And over the past, like you can see from like May to October, we were pretty much consolidating in this level right here for about 480, all right, to about $5.20. So let's say 480 would be like a good support level for like 4 months. That could kind of like be like the first zone. Remember the first zone I talk about in an uptrend. That's where you can potentially time your entry to ride the rebound. All right, the first zone, right? So yes, we were pretty much consolidating here, and eventually, all right, we broke this resistance level. Look at this, right? The 520 up, down. And just like about 2-3 weeks back, all right, of course, the Singapore government kind of like announced like more countries being in the vaccinated travel lane, so people can kind of like travel more, flexibly and all that. And that's where we saw a boost, right, to the airline and even the hospitality industry. And as I kind of like spike up by more than 5-6%, or that day went up to about 560, consolidated. And this, look at this, right? This resistance will now turn to like a support, right? So 520 would now be the support. You can see we started to retrace back down a little bit, all right, and buyers are starting to come back up, right? So I think right now, as long as we to hold above that 520 level, whereby buyers are starting to come back up, and of course a little bit of resistance somewhere around 530. If you can just allow me to show you guys right here over the past 2 weeks, that is where we are seeing a bit of selling around the 530 level, and that's also where the green line, right? The green line is. So yeah, I think if we can break that 530, 5.30 a little bit firmly, I think that's where the upside reversal can happen, back up all the way to about 560 or maybe to that 580 level. That could be the potential rebound level. 580 is pretty much where we were in like March, April, just before the sell down, right? Just before the sell down. Okay, again, right? So this is pretty much where we are right now. So I think that is SIA. I mean, I would say SIA is one of those I mean, compared to like the rest, like Franken and Apec Realty, we have seen quite a good uptrend forming over the past 1 year. They kind of like recovered already, but for SIA, it's like more like a recovery play. It's more like a recovery play. Of course, you know, due to the current situation, it will take a while. Not next month, maybe not like end of next year, or I mean, maybe next year, end of next year, next year, all right? And that's where things will slowly get better. People start traveling, and that's where we can see this, you know, stocks like this airline stocks slowly recover, all right? And of course, eventually, if it breaks that 580. That's where we can see it push up to the next upside targets, which should be about that 6 to maybe 650 level, right? So that would be SIA, which is pretty much stock number 5. So I pretty much covered, all right, and gone on for like about 45 minutes. So if I can have a bit more time, let me know, guys, if you want me to cover like one more stock. How many of you want like bonus, a bonus, or type bonus? If I have like more than 10 of you typing bonus, then I might come like review one more stock. Type bonus in the chat if you want like another bonus stock. You share, let me know. Awesome. Okay, so a lot of you have typed bonus. Okay, we have Kelly. Hi, Tasha. Good to see you. Robert, Chongtek, June. Okay, Cole, Yoxiu, Jeff, Celine, Edgar, Sam, Sippy, Wade. Hi, bonus. So I think all of you want some good bonus talk. Okay, good. So allow me to share with you, all right, just a few minutes on before we move to our Q&A. All right, and that's one bonus talk I'll share with you, and that would be this company called right here. Let me just show you back the screen again. And that would be the final one, which will be called UMS, right? UMS. That's right now. So we have covered like 5 stocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much the whole entire topic for this webinar, which is like the 5 stocks, but I want to give you one more stock to make it 6 and not 5, right? So I hope that you guys have gained some value in this very webinar. So let me just go ahead and talk about this, this stock right here, UMS, which would be like the 6 stock. So what is UMS? Let me just take a right. So UMS is right here, right? UMS, same thing. UMS and Franken, I would say they are pretty much one of the strongest technology companies in Singapore. All right, very strong uptrend. Each time we retrace back down a little bit, and that's where buyers started to bargain hunt, especially at some of those good longer term moving average level. Look at this right here, somewhere in March when we saw the technology sector sold off. Same thing, we hit it to this level, rebound here, rebounded as well. And over the past like 1 month, all right, 3 weeks to a month, we have kind of like hit it to that level and we kind of rebounded as well. All right, so this is Franken, also one of those good longer term uptrending counters whereby you can put in your watch list. So they kind of like did a bonus issue, a 1-for-4 bonus issue. So price has kind of like adjusted downwards slightly, and this is based on the adjusted prices. So that is pretty much the range right now. You can see $1.20. Look at this right here, guys. 120 was a little bit of a resistance level. I mean, let's just analyze it from the price right here. You can see what we call an upward sloping channel support line right here. Okay, right here. So come an upward sloping channel support line, and this 120 was a little bit of a resistance level. Of course, this is based on adjusted X bonus price, right? But 120, look at this, we break up, went up, and we went to like 140, came back down. So this 120, look at this right here, 120 would now be kind of like a support level. So we kind of like traded down, all right, traded down here due to the tech weakness just a few weeks back last month. And look at this right here, 120 was where we kind of like spotted what we call a bullish reversal candle, all right, something like a doji, all right, and we want to see candles like these at certain levels, right, at near the support levels in an uptrend, right. In this case, we kind of came in, I mean, it saw that level right around that 120 level, right? It used to be like 150, of course, price has adjusted now, but right at this support level. So when we kind of like see, very good bullish candles right here, that is really a sign of the reversal starting to happen back up again. So yeah, there were some targets that were drawn just a few weeks back all the way to like 140. So yeah, we kind of like rebounded again. And sellers came back up near 140, which is normal, as I say, right? 140, look at this, right? We've been like selling down for like about 2 months plus, right? So 140 is where you can also think about getting out, locking in some partial profits. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, we did see a bit of selling pressure, but I think right now we might actually see some short-term weakness or maybe a little bit of consolidation just from like 120 above 120 to 125. Look at this right here, and that's where I think if it hits to those really good attractive levels right here again, you can think about getting in to kind of ride the rebound back to that 140, right? So this is UMS here. So one of those good long-term up trending counter, which you kind of like rebounded, and then some selling is coming back, and good that the selling is coming back because that's where you can think about, you know, kind of like loading up again, all right, at those good support levels, especially, right, if we were to spot certain good bullish reversal candles right here, we like spot another doji or kind of like another good bullish price action candle here, that could be a good sign of a rebound. All right, so that would be UMS, pretty much stock number 6 that I shared with you guys. So how many of you like gained some value? How many of you gained some value in today's session? Type value in the chat below. Let me know, guys. Type value. Value. Hi, Sam. Value. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much the platform for this. I mean, this is pretty much the whole entire point of this webinar, to pretty much add value to you guys, give you guys some exposure to some of the Singapore stocks that you definitely want to put in your watch list. And I'm glad that you guys have gained value to it, right? So before we go to Q&A and pass back the mic to Robin, all right, let me just go to bring back my screen to you guys. So we have covered like pretty much 6 stocks, all right. We have covered secret number 1, secret number 2, which pretty much dive into just a little glimpse of the strategy that I'm using. Of course, guys, as I mentioned, you're gonna find out a little bit more on the strategy. Go ahead and attend one of those free web class. All right, and I'll probably give you guys a link in a bit, but this is pretty much aware. I think some of you are asking, like, in terms of like the ideas. Let's say you want to get some of those like SG stock ideas, you can kind of like join my private Telegram community, and this way we kind of like share some ideas as well. Let me just go ahead and put the link in the chat. That's it, the link right here. You can go ahead and click, or you can kind of like scan the QR code, and this way you can like kind of like join my private Telegram community, whereby we actually share some of those ideas on the Singapore market. We talk about the banks, even stocks like Franken. Some of them went in as well. Some of those videos that I do on YouTube, that's where you can get it much faster. All right, and yeah, you definitely want to join this Telegram group, especially if you're looking at some of those top Singapore stocks. So let me know, guys. I've kind of like placed the link. Let me know if you guys are done. Type done before we move on to our Q&A, before I pass on the mic to Robin, right? So let me know. Yeah, make sure you join this Telegram group. Scan, or the link is right there in the chat. I kind of like send the link in the chat on Zoom to everyone. Okay, so just a few more minutes, guys. So yes, I pretty much like just nice. All right, I kind of like stop around 11:15, 11:20 a.m. So I think we are doing good. All right, so we have some time for Q&A, so not to worry. All right, and yeah, so I think all of you guys are done. So let me just share with you again. All right, so yeah, as I say, guys, if you want to find out a little bit more, of course, today I don't really have the time to cover a little bit more of my strategy. You can attend what we call the 1GT web class, which is pretty much where I will share a little bit of my strategy, the whole reasons, how we get in and get out, and how to actually grow our portfolio consistently. Right? So that's the link I placed in chat. Go in to check it out, and that's where you can learn a little bit more. Right. So I believe I'm pretty much done for today. Before we go to Q&A, I'll pass on the mic back to Robin before we come back to Q&A again. Robin, it's back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Choy, for sharing with us your valuable insights and for the fun and lively session. To all our viewers, thank you for tuning into this session. And if Mr. Choy's sharing has sparked any inquiries in you, please do not hesitate to type that out in the comment section, as we will start our Q&A session very soon. Before that, let me share my screen. Now, if you want to know more about trading in Singapore, we have included related links in the comment section and on the screen as well. Please feel free to visit the links, or you can scan the QR code right here for more information. If you want to receive the latest market insights through Telegram, you can follow the SGX Telegram channel. In the Telegram app, just search for SGX Invest, or just scan the QR code right here that link you to the channel. A quick reminder, should you choose to open a trading account with Mqtrader, all you have to do is send us your contact details through the open account links in the comment section. Opening a trading account with Mqtrader is free, as we will cover the account opening fees for you. You can also claim an extra 500 MP points when your account is successfully opened if you sign up today. For Mqtrader members who have registered for the event, you can claim your 300 MP points by completing the short quiz that will be sent right to your email after this. Remember to include a screenshot of the webinar in the quiz link, and if you are yet to sign up for Mqtrader account, remember to sign up now. Our previous webinar recordings are also available on our MQdemy and Facebook page. Once again, the QR code and links are on the screen, and you may go and watch them after this. We'll be sending out today's webinar recordings to all who register for the event. For those who have not registered for the event and want the recording, you can register now by providing us your email address via the comment section or by sending a request to Mqtrader's email or to our WhatsApp number. And once again, all the information are on the screen. So now let's move on to our Q&A session. So Mr. Joey, here's the first question. How to estimate the time frame for exit when the trend happens based on the strategy? Is it buy at support level, sell at resistance level?
Okay, thanks, Robin. Okay, good. Let's go on to Q&A, right? So let me just go ahead to share my screen. Would that be okay, Robin? I can share my screen so that I can kind of explain clearer. Okay, let me just share my screen. All right. Okay, good. So good question, right? Who is going to ask this question? Michelle, how do you determine where to draw the support? Sorry, where's the question? Let me just go ahead. Yeah, I think that's the question, right? How do you determine where to draw the support and resistance? And it seems like very subjective. Robin, is that the question that you asked?
Yeah, is it buy at support level or sell at resistance level?
Okay, good question. All right, so as I say, guys, when we look at stocks, we want to kind of like time of entry in terms of like being in the same direction as a trend, right? So when we kind of like gauge the trend and we affirm it and it's like pretty much an uptrend, we can think about getting in at the support level. There's levels like, for example, look at this stock right here. This is kind of like a really good support level around the 120 level. And if we were to hit to these levels, I think it can kind of like present a really, really good upside reward, all right, to risk ratio. Of course, in the stock market, there's no such thing as you buy, you know, you will sure go up, you'll sure make money, no, right? But what is the reward to risk at that point in time, right? So if the reward is like up to 3 times, 4 times, and the risk you're like only risking like a few cents, then I would say it's a high probability reward to risk trade, and that's where you can potentially take that trade to ride the rebound, because in an uptrend, this support is likely to hold, all right? So yeah, you can kind of like time your entry to get in, all right, near the support level and get out as well near the resistance level, right? So that is key. I think if you can like take some profit near like this resistance at 140, that is fine as well, because selling can actually come back, right? But of course, some people might say that what if it were to break, you know, I mean, what if it were to break that 140? Like, of course, now it came back down, but we might actually consolidate, and one day, you know, we can actually break that 140 and might push up to like 150 or 160, and then you like kind of sold off. Then you might think, you know, why did I sell, right? Wasted. I should not have sold, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, nobody knows, right? Nobody knows if it can kind of like break the resistance. So what I teach is that you can kind of like take partial profits, all right, to, you know, to get out, lock in some profits, especially if you're going near the support. And more importantly, what you can do is to take steps to protect your profits, right, as it hits to this level. So for example, if you've got in like 120, maybe 122 or maybe 125, all right, and 125, you go back up to like 138, all right, 125, you went up to like 138, you have kind of like make some profit. Definitely you're in the money, all right, but from 138, yeah, I mean, you can choose to take some profit at 139, you know, 138, 140, that's fine. But what you want to do is to take steps to protect your profit, so that in case if it were to come back down, you can kind of like, you know, still get out, right, make a bit lesser, but you still make money overall. You don't want it to like let prices come all the way back down and then you're like back to square one, back to that 1, 2, 3 again, right? So that's not what you can do, right? So you can take partial profits near the resistance level, but more importantly, what I teach is to like raise the stop loss so that if you to like retrace back down slightly, maybe to like maybe 132, 34, all right, and that's where you can think about getting out first, maybe reassess it before timing your entry to kind of get in again, right? So how do you draw like support and resistance, as it is quite subjective? I think all this is pretty much where it comes to experience. Of course, it's all learnable and trainable, but you need to have like experience to draw it. All right, we want to look at levels whereby certain price level are always touching. You can see right here, we kind of like touch about 1 time, 2, 3 times resistance level. So the more time it touches a particular level, that is like a firm resistance or support level. I want to focus on areas or perhaps price levels whereby the resistance turn support level, right? So that is where we give a little bit more meaning, or we place a bit more emphasis. In that case, look at this, right? The 120, it fits really nicely. It was like the resistance. Now it turns support, and that is also where we saw like some good reversal candle here. So when it comes like fits really nicely like a resistance, it breaks up and it becomes like a support level. that is where I think we give a lot of weight on that price level, right? Especially if a lot of price level, a lot of points are touching that level. Like, of course, you need like 2 points to form a line, but if like 3, 4, 5 points, touching that line, then I would say that is a very, very firm resistance or support level. Okay, good. So that's like pretty much the first question. Robin, the second question, maybe you can choose for me. Go ahead.
Well, that's a very great answer. So for the second question, is there any way to backtest the strategies that you mentioned above, basically to verify the best time for entry and their success rate?
Yes, of course. You can definitely backtest the strategy. Of course, like right now, I don't have time to show you guys like in terms of the strategy and how it's backtested, the system and all that. So yeah, I mean, as I say, guys, if you want to find a little bit more on like the strategy and all that, we don't have time to cover too much in it today. But I think you can attend one of those free web class, all right, which I kind of like place the link just now. And that's where we kind of like share with you a little bit more on like the kind of like the backtested data, the system and all that that we use, right? But yeah, definitely in any kind of like strategy, you definitely will be able to backtest it and see like the results in terms of the winning rate and the reward to risk and all that. Next one, go ahead.
Okay, now for the next question. Given that the strategy you mentioned is technically turned, does it take into consideration a counter's fundamentals? For example, large trading volume, good revenue over 5 to 10 years of time, growing counter, and etc.
Okay, let me see if I can find that question. Oh, seems I'm not able to see. Okay, good. So yeah, Robin, yeah. So basically, this question is you're asking like if like the revenue and you're looking at the like things like fundamental. Is that correct, Robin? Because I can't see that. Okay, so basically for this strategy, basically we're looking at the technicals, all right? So just looking at the chart itself. I believe that in technical analysis, the charts don't lie, because nothing wrong with doing like fundamental analysis. You can do it. I mean, if like going for the longer term, 5 years, 10 years outlook, it's good to do your fundamental research as well. But technical analysis, we're just looking at the charts, looking at the trend, looking at certain indicators, and pretty much timing out entry to get in and get out, right? So I believe that you can do both, right? Whether is it like revenue, you look at the 5 years outlook, how the company is doing. If that is good, and of course, in technically it looks good as well, I think it's even better. All right. So normally, yeah, you can do both. I think both are equally good. But I think in terms of like a position to swing trading, we pretty much just look at the charts. It's much more simpler. All right. We don't want to complicate things. We don't look at so many things. And most often than not, people, if you look at too many things, you'll have like what we call analysis paralysis. All right. And you pretty much just don't know what to do, because like one say buy, one say sell, and then what do you do, right? So we kind of like keep it simple, but just focus on a few things. We look at the charts, we trade what we see, and that's where we kind of like have built a plan to get in and get out. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, next.
Okay, next question. Do different seasons of the year and times of the month affect the stock market as a whole? Are there specific patterns that you think a trader should take into account? For example, Reits.
Reits. Okay, I mean, basically, if you're looking at REITs, like real estate investment trusts, yeah, I mean, that's good as well. Basically, REITs, like, they come like people buy them for good yield. You can go for some of the logistic REITs, hospitality REITs, commercial REITs and all that. I would say that if you're going for yield, you can go for what we call some of those logistic, REITs like Mapletree kind of like industrial trusts. In Singapore, we have quite a few REITs. I'm not sure too much on it, but maybe like some of the Mapletree Logistic Trust, Mapletree Commercial Trust, L&I, Mapletree Logistic Industrial Trust as well. I think those are pretty good yield, more than 3-4% yield, and pretty stable, I would say. Of course, it wouldn't like go up a lot or go down a lot, right? It's pretty much quite sideways, all right? And these are stocks that you can also take a look if you're going for like, passive income kind of yield. You can take a look at the REITs as well. Yeah. So in terms of like, what was the first question again in terms of?
Do different seasons of the year and times of the month affect the stock market as a whole?
Oh, season. I mean, basically, most people are like saying like, I mean, there are a few seasons like, like what, sell in May and go away and all that stuff. So I would say that, for me, I think that it really doesn't matter because I would say I just want to focus on the right stocks, because sometimes it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So sell in May, goes away. Yeah, to be honest, sometimes it does happen, but most of the time in several years, it does not happen as well, right? In May doesn't mean it will go down, right? It can also go up in May, and that's what we've seen as well. All right, so I think it's more important that we focus on the right stocks, all right, and not like say like, oh, this month is weak, or November, the market can change, because like just like last year in March or you know, when Jan, right, when COVID kind of hit us, that's where things kind of like took a turn for the worse, right? So anything can just change, right? So rather than say like every single month in this year, certain things will happen, it will move up, or it's more likely to be bullish or bearish, I think it's good that we just move on, all right? Of course, certain news can come in, but we just trade pretty much how we see the stock. We look at the index as well in terms of the Straits Times, the Dow Jones. You know, we can kind of like tell if the trend is strong, if certain levels are holding, if we can kind of like push up more, or maybe we might actually see a bit of short-term weakness because certain levels have just broken. You want to be careful, something like that. All right.
That's very insightful as always. The next question. Interesting coverage on tech stocks in Singapore, Franken and UMS. So how do they compare to tech stocks in Malaysia like Inari, which has similar price trends as Franken? Which do you think has greater potentials over the next 3 to 5 years?
Okay, good. So good question. So maybe I could just, I mean, because basically my forte is in like the Singapore and maybe like the US market. All right. So Malaysia stocks, of course, I do look at it once in a while, but for this Inari, I have not looked at it before. So just want to be sure, what is the stock code for Inari? Maybe why not just let's do it live and let's just pull out the stock Inari. Would that sound good, right? And then we can just take a look. Let me see if I can find the stock code for Inari. Would it be right here? So this is Inari. Is this the stock that you're asking? I mean, for the who's the one? Kelvin, I think you want to ask this question, right, Kevin? Awesome, Kevin. I saw your message 0166.my Bursa. Yes, this is Inari. So I've not really followed Inari, all right. But right now, if you ask me about Inari, I would say that this is also, I mean, thanks for kind of like introducing us to this stock right here in this live session, all right. And I think this is quite a good stock to hold as well. It looks, to be honest, quite similar to like UMS and Franken. All right, got to hit the low somewhere in March, went up a bit slightly. You can see the red line above the blue line, and I think the uptrend really kind of like started all the way up from here in October last year. Let me just go. Why not? Let me just go into analyze for you guys live. I mean, since Kevin, you can't like ask this stock. Let me just go to draw it for you. For example, I think right now that is where we are pretty much seeing the resistance at about $4 level, a psychological level. All right, and I would say a little bit of a support around the 380. That is where for about 2 weeks plus, we have been pretty much back at this support level, right? So this would be pretty much the range, right? So I think that, you know, something like Franken UMS, we saw a bit of consolidation as well. So you can see that Inari, just like in beginning of the year, so quite a good push last year, but beginning of the year, somewhere in like January, we were pretty much consolidating from this level, about $2 and about $3, right? So $3 was what we call a really good support level right here. You can see, right, guys, $3 went up. We came back down, quite a good candle here. Reversal went up, down again. You can see went down to the same spot, right here. Okay, let me just go to show you guys right here. So $3. So $3 is what we call a psychological level, all right? Like $3, $5, $10, $1. These are what we call psychological level, and we want to give a bit more weight to that as well. But when it was consolidating, you can see that this green line is like kind of like moving sideways, right? You can see prices moving up, down, and this green line is going sideways. But the short term was a bit of sideways, but the longer term, all right, yeah, I mean, you have like kind of shared this counter with us. You can see that the longer term is pretty much up, right here, the red above the blue, both pointing up. So short term was a bit of sideways since like January, Feb this year, but longer term was up. So yeah, I mean, this could actually be a good counter to time your entry, to be honest, right at this level here, right? 310, 320, somewhere around here to catch the rebound. And if you have done it, great. I think that's where you're probably sitting on profits right now. But right now, of course, we broke this $3.80, right? Look at this, right? 380. We attempted to break somewhere last month, came back down, right? But this is where the 20 days moving average line is as well, right? Sloping upwards. Look at this green line sloping upwards. And eventually, second time we attempted to break this 380. And yes, it's successful. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been pretty much consolidating from like 380 to about that $4 level. That is pretty much the range right now. 20 cents, right? 20 cents range, 380 to $4. And the green line, the 20 days moving average, you can see is right here as well, right here as well. So I think right now, anything like above this 380, to be honest, the uptrend looks quite intact. And the fact that we have kind of like broken out of this like 10 months range, right? The 10 months resistance level at 380. I think that's where we can potentially see the uptrend continue. Of course, guys, we want to make sure we get past that $4. $4, I have not taken a look at this stock, but I can take a look at the $4. I think there might be quite a lot of sellers at $4. If we can get past $4, I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's where the uptrend can continue. Maybe like 420, 450, and so on. That is kind of like the near-term resistance level. So quite good stocks. Thanks for sharing, Kevin. I think this is one of those good stocks as well. I mean, from the chart, it looks quite good in terms of the trend and in terms of it being quite stable. And also, like, over the past 2 weeks, we managed to see some good price actions coming back with it, lifting off the 10 months resistance level. All right, so yeah, I believe I kind of like covered Inari quite clearly. Next one, Robin.
Okay, for the last question today, how did COVID-19 shape your strategy, and how would you prevent getting caught in similar market sell down in the future?
Also, the COVID-19 kind of like presented quite a bit of opportunity. All right, so I would say that when it happened last year, I mean, people were all fearful and stuff, so it kind of like traded down. I mean, we can take a look at like maybe the banks, right? And most of the markets sold off like 10, 20, some even 30, 40%. All right, and we've started to see a bit of stability. All right, but I think some people might be asking like would it be will prices come like hit down back to when COVID hit last year? All right, is it like can like DBS go back down to this level here? I would say right now, I mean, we have kind of like seen a bit of a recovery, all right. And for those who think that, I don't know, I mean, for me personally, I feel that right now the market is a little bit more bullish, right, compared to last year, right? Compared to last year when things are about like COVID and people are like, when's the vaccines being rolled out and all that, it's a bit more negative, right? But right now, I think people are a little bit more positive, all right? People are looking to more like, traveling and getting vaccinated, which is being rolled out in most of the countries in the world. Of course, eventually it will take time, right? And Malaysia, in the process of doing it, Singapore is doing it as well. And eventually, I think things will eventually get back to normal. It will take time, but people are a little bit more positive rather than just talking about COVID and people are sick of it. I think so. Right now, I would say that if you're looking at prices kind of like dipping back down to like COVID levels last year, I think it might be a bit hard. I think even like the Delta variant that we saw just a few months back, we saw the market tanking down. All right, like for example, let me just share with the Straits Times index, since we are talking about the markets. All right, and yeah, I mean, look at this right here. So somewhere in like March, April, same thing, when there was like a Delta variant for the STI, we kind of like traded down from like 3,000 to 3,250 all the way to around the 3,000 level. Look at this right here. So quite a good support, 3,000, 3,050 around there. You can see this was like a bit of a resistance, turn support. You can see this was resistance, turn support. It went down, rebounded, went down, rebounded. Right, so that is pretty much the range for now. All right, all the way back up to maybe about a 33,000 level. All right, so I would say that the market is a bit more bullish because each time we like have some negative news on like, I don't know, now it's like a Delta variant, maybe next time we have an Alpha variant or whatever. I would say that, yeah, I mean, it might see a bit of weakness, but a bit of short-term weakness, but that's where, it comes down to certain levels. People are starting to bargain hard again. They are using it as an opportunity to kind of like get in, to kind of get in on dips to make sure they are not, they have not missed out again, right? Because I mean, a lot of people have been saying, I should have bought right here in March last year or what. So now, and then people are like, kind of like, if it dips a little bit, they don't want to miss out, they want to get in. And that's where, we start to see a rebound over the past, like, 8 to 10 months. That's exactly what has happened for the STI, even for the US as well. All right, we see a bit of weakness, certain levels are holding, and people come in and rush, and then that's where it started to rebound as well, right? So I would say that, yeah, I mean, in terms of the market, is still quite bullish. And if you are looking to kind of like, like what you mentioned, to like protect or like protect your positions, yeah, I mean, each time it hits to certain levels, as I say, you can take steps to protect your profits. You kind of like, raise your stop loss upwards so that if it were to kind of retrace back down, at least you're still making money. All right, and then maybe let it go down some more to certain levels, and that's where you can think about like getting in again. Right? I hope that makes sense, right? Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much how it is, right? Robin, next one.
Okay, I think that's all for our Q&A session today. Thank you, Mr. Choy, for answering these questions and for the enlightening sharing. I believe all our viewers have learned a lot from sharing today, and to all our viewers, once again, thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to watch a replay of this session, it will be available on our MQdemy and Facebook page. We will also be sending out today's video recording links through emails to those who registered with us. But before that, let me share my screen. Okay, if you have any further inquiries, you can also contact us on our Mqtrader Facebook page, Instagram, or even IG Messenger. Don't forget to complete the short quiz and include a screenshot of the webinar after the webinar ends. And for those who want to open a trading account with us, remember to do so now. Once again, you can find all the links in the comment section. And so this concludes the webinar this morning. Thank you, Mr. Choy, and thank you all for attending. I hope you all have learned and enjoyed this webinar. We'll keep this webinar live for another 10 minutes or so that you can refer to the links again. And I will stay here for another 5 minutes in case anyone has any questions regarding MQtrader. I'll be very happy to answer them. And that's all for this morning, Mr. Choy.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Robin. So guys, thank you so much for having me in this webinar. Thank you, Mqtrader. Thank you, Robin, for having me. And I hope that you guys have taken away something from the Q&A, from whatever I've shared in terms of the 5+1 bonus stock. Thank you so much, guys. Hi, CP. So yeah, guys, just before I go, all right, yes, I'll see you guys, and hopefully reach out to me if you need any help. But basically, I mean, I've just shared the link with you guys, but if you want to find a little bit more on the strategy, I placed the link again for the last time, all right, before I leave. And I look forward to see you guys in in this one of those free webcasts to learn a bit more. So I hope that you guys have taken away something. Thank you so much for joining us all the way for like more than an hour plus, all right, and really good to see you guys here. All right, so thank you, Kevin. Thank you, June. CB, I'll see you guys, and I'll just pass the mic back to Robin. Thanks, Robin.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So just a quick reminder, should you choose to open a trading account with Mqtrader, all you have to do is send us your contact details through the open account links in the comment section. Opening a trading account with Mqtrader is free, as we will cover the account opening fees for you. And you can also claim an extra 500 MQ points when your account is successfully opened today. And if you are interested in watching our previous webinar recordings, they are also available on our MQdemy and Facebook page. Once again, the QR code and links are on the screen, and you can go and watch them after this. We'll be sending out today's webinar recordings to all who register for the event. And for those who have not registered for the event and want the video recording, you can register now by providing us your email address via the comment section or by sending a request to Mqtrader's email or to our WhatsApp number. And once again, all the information are on the comment section. Okay, Chin, if you want to open a trading account, you can send us your contact details through the open account link in the comment section. Or just once again, opening a trading account with Mqtrader is free. After you leave your contact details, our support team will contact you shortly to guide you on the account opening process. And for Mqtrader members who have RSVP, you can claim your 300 MQ points by completing the short quiz that will be sent right to your email after this. Remember to include a screenshot of this webinar in the quiz link. And if you are yet to sign up for an Mqtrader account, remember to sign up now. Now that sums up for our webinar this morning. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in our next session. I will now leave the webinar, and once again, this is Robin from Mqtrader. Enjoy the weekend and stay safe.
Thanks for watching.